Hi there, this is Outdoor Gear Chat. Welcome along. I always say welcome along, don't I? This is episode 64, Blimey Charlie. And I'm flying solo today. I don't know why I've been trusted with this next guest, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, it'll all become clear. You might recognize her voice, he says. We're going to be talking about the Cape Wrath Trail. It is today, isn't it? That's right. And I am joined by Cathy. Hi.
Hi,
All
mate.
right.
Well, I might be a little bit nervous.
Yeah. After that build up, I should have given it more. I was going to go for a bigger one, but I thought I'd just leave it at that. No, there's no need to be nervous. I'm really looking forward to this, despite hearing the story from different people about this already in different chunks. I suppose it's going to be good to maybe have it all in one. He says, hopping about. So you've been you not that long ago. You went on the Cape Wrath Trail with a couple of mates basically, isn't it?
Yeah,
So tell us about it. What is it for those who might not know as a starting point?
yeah. The Cape Wrath Trail is actually a national trail, but it's quite unique in that there's no one set path. You can actually take a number of different routes that are all considered to be the Cape Wrath Trail.
Right.
So it's something I heard of about 15 years ago. A good friend of mine, Sylvie, she just spent about 20 years quietly solo walking all of the long distance trails in the UK, and Cape Wrath was one of her last ones to link them all up. And she was wanting to buy a tent for it because it is very remote. It covers 220 miles ish
Wow.
from Fort William all the way up the west coast of Scotland and ending at Cape Wrath Lighthouse. So that's where it gets its name from. So it's a mighty chunk of land, and it is actually it goes through some of the remotest parts of the UK. So it's quite serious. You're a long way from any help if anything goes wrong. Um, and this kind of it just kind of went just sort of floated around in my mind as an idea, and then over 15 years with family and business and life and
Yeah.
everything else, and it just sort of tucked away there, and I thought, oh, well, it'd be nice to do it at some point. I'll stick it in the retirement pot, I'll do it when we're retired. And I'd been feeling over the last couple of years, haven't done an ultra for a while. I needed another challenge. I'd just been feeling a bit like a menopausal wet lettuce, actually, frankly. And I thought, right, I'm not rolling over to this. I'm not giving up and saying, right, I'm past it. I'm going to really do something about it. And then I didn't. It just kind of stayed festering as an idea. But I hadn't factored in our assistant manager, Ali Woodard in Ambleside, who was just sort of like she's very very delicate lady, Ali. She sort of sidled up. She's like, "Oh, yeah, what are you thinking about doing? You got any plans for the year?" And I was like, "Well, And foolishly, I mentioned the Cape Wrath Trail,
Yeah.
and she just like she didn't even draw breath. She said, "Right, I'm in. When are we setting the date?" I was like,
I love it.
ah,
Ah,
right. So,
brilliant. And that was fuel thrown on the fire almost, or yeah,
yeah,
a
yeah,
catalyst.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she was absolutely just what I needed. She just
Yeah.
needed to give me that boot up the bum and to really put the planning in place and to get cracking. Now we're really fortunate. James Gibson, the wonderful James Gibson, who we,
Yeah.
we interviewed about his amazing
About the winter
Wainwright
Wainwright.
trip. Yeah. He ran the Cape Moss Trail in, I think it was 2018, 2019, and he got the fastest known time on that trip. He did it in about 5 days something. So there's no way we were going to even touch that kind of time.
Yeah.
And I did say from day one, I'm
I
not
don't
letting.
think anyone mortal does. And I know James disagrees with that, but yeah. It's 5 days, blimey, right? Oh,
Yeah,
that
no,
shifting.
no, there's nowhere. And I did say, I can't run this. I don't want to have to put in that amount of training to be able to run it, basically.
Yeah.
But let's do a fast pack. We'll go light, we'll walk fast, we'll move fast. So we set a plan to do it in about 12 days. Um, and as we were planning, it sort of became obvious that actually with two of us, I mean, it would be doable, but if anything did go wrong, one of us was going to be on our own while the other
Mm.
went for help. And we thought, "Well, ideally, if you get a third person, let's try and find somebody else who wants to cover 220 miles through the woods."
Yeah.
Like,
What other
okay.
unsuspecting soul do we know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. And actually we collared one, a customer actually, Hillary Ridgway, and Ali and I were out on a fell run with her, and had a lovely run, and just said, "What do you reckon? You up for this?" And it just hit her timing perfectly, and she's like,
yeah,
"Yeah." So I thought, "Oh no, now I've got two people that are signed up and invested
yeah.
in this. That means I've really got to
There's no escape. Yeah, I know
know."
exactly that feeling. Why won't somebody tell me this is a bad idea? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or are you foolish or something? Yeah, yeah.
So we knew James had done a huge amount of research into the route, and
Right.
I mean he is a mountain goat.
Yeah. Well,
So
and he's geeky on that stuff as well, isn't he? In the best possible of
and
ways.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's got an incredible amount of mountain experience and long distance experience. So we thought, right, we'll use the same route James took, and he was so supportive. He was so great with his time, so generous, and
Yeah.
just gave us his GPS route. So we loaded
Right.
that, or Ali loaded that onto her watch. I'm a paper and map and compass lady, or I was until this Christmas when I too got a very nice new
One of
suntan
those. Yeah,
watch.
yeah. One of those beauties. Sorry. Yeah, yeah.
So moving on from the plug.
Yeah.
We got a spreadsheet going. We sorted out distances for days. We sorted out accommodation. Most importantly, we sorted out when we were going to get showers, when we were going to be
Yeah.
able to do our laundry because we are middle-aged ladies and these kind of comforts are very important. And we also looked at bothies that we were going to stay in, and we ended up using a mixture of bothies, wild camps, campsites, and a couple of nights in hostels as well, which was fantastic.
No B and
So
B's. I don't recall you mentioning bed and breakfast there. Was
no.
there no bed and breakfast? Wasn't there?
Well,
I'm sorry. No.
there was one bed but no breakfast because that's what happens these days. I thought it was a bed and breakfast, but it turned out
That,
there was
I
no
know. Sorry,
breakfast.
that was why I was being naughty because I knew there was something else. There was yeah, yeah, yeah. I like
Yeah,
that. There
and
was
that
bed
bed and
but no
breakfast I
breakfast.
just point out was in Fort William at the very start.
Yeah, yeah,
And we had a wonderful friend, Dave, who went out of his way to drop us in Fort William. And we all had, I tell you what, I don't know if you've ever been to Fort William.
yeah.
At the south end of the high street, there is an incredible Indian restaurant. And we went there for our meal before we started the next morning. It looks
Right.
out over the lock where you take the ferry from.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we all ordered a biryani, and it comes in a bucket.
Right.
So we all had a bucket of biryani each.
The night before you were starting an
Oh, yeah.
ultra.
Yeah.
Right.
Rocket
Yeah.
fuel.
Oh well,
Absolute
yeah, I know.
rocket fuel.
It'd be the rocket fuel in the worst possible of ways for me. I've got to
It was
say that's it.
fantastic.
Yeah,
It was
yeah. Oh,
absolutely
brilliant.
fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, we had belly full of biryani, and
I love that.
yeah,
Belly full of biryani.
and got up the next morning and took the ferry and started walking.
And yeah, so how far did you go? How far were you planning on going each day? Was it you know, you like we all do. We get our spreadsheets out and plan a certain amount, and then that goes to rat poop. Oh, did it go a plan or not? Was it yeah? Did you?
Yeah, it did. We did stick to plan. We took advice en route, which was really
Mm.
helpful.
Yeah,
But our first day was 26, 27 miles. And that got us to the first bothy, just the other side of
yeah,
Glenfinnian Viaduct. So that was a long one.
yeah, yeah.
The second day was about 17 miles, and we thought the third day would do 10 as a bit of a rest day.
Right.
But we had Oh, the most amazing night at Sawley's Bothy. Oh, the fire was going. There was deer grazing literally outside. It was so calm. There was stags roaring because it was during the rut.
Yeah, wow.
And there was just this lovely group of folks staying at the Bothy. It was just, really good crack in front of the fire. It was
Yeah,
magic. And one of the guys there that evening had actually walked the route the year before and just suggested that rather than stopping at Barrisdale Bothy and having our 10-mile day, take the punishing path all the way out to the end of Kinloch Horn and get that over and done with. Don't do that in the morning because the rest of the day
right.
is pretty
It's
big after
ruined.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Okay. Yeah,
So he took his advice on that, and that was sagely advice. Thank you, Brad, if
yeah.
you're listening. He's a fan
Oh,
of
well,
the
that's awesome.
podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I know, and that's good to hear as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I really like that. And yeah, forgive me because I know, yeah, I know we might hop about a bit just because of the pieces of conversation that you and I have had
Hmm.
before recording. When was the oh, how to describe it, the dead stag or the dead deer incident? Where
Oh,
did that
Lordy
come?
me.
Well, you
Yeah.
got, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know whether you wanted to say that or at some
Yeah, no,
point.
you bang on actually, because that was as we were coming down the valley into towards Barrisdale Bay, which is we'd just crossed Knoydart at that point,
Yeah,
and we saw a backpacker like way off in the distance towards the base of the valley as we were sort of starting at the head, and as we were sort of going up and down and in and out as you do in a valley, we lost sight of him. And but we did kind of pick up on like bits of blood on the path, like spots of blood on the path, and we're like, "Oh, crikey, all right." And as we went down, there was more, and occasionally there was a big lump of what was clearly fresh blood.
yeah.
And after probably about 20 minutes, we turned a corner and we'd really caught up on this person, this backpacker, and we were just thinking, "Oh, you know."
They're really
They
hurt.
must be. They maybe they're injured, and we're going to have to really help out here because there's adding it up. There's a lot of blood on this path,
Yeah,
and they're obviously moving really slowly. So we lost sight of them again around another kind of little wobble in the path, and popped out on the path practically on top of this guy. And oh my word, the relief for all of us when we saw he was the gamekeeper just with a big dead stag on his back, basically. We were just like, oh, thank God for that. And we
well,
thought,
that's it. I sort of gave away part of the story with asking you the question, but when you're telling me the story, and I was just like, "Oh God, oh my,
oh
yeah,
yeah,
is it somebody really badly injured and they're
yeah.
just hobbling the way to wherever to try and
Oh
find
no,
help?"
yeah, we were
Jeez,
just like, where's the first aid kits? We're gonna have to do some serious
yeah.
bandaging and
Have we got mobile signal? How
yeah,
far away
yeah.
from a helicopter are we? Blimey,
So no, it was a real relief. We had a really nice chat with him actually, and I
yeah,
mean, it's not often you get to, like really up close to a stag. I mean, we were close to stags the whole way because they were
yeah.
roaring and we
Well,
could hear them fighting at night,
yeah,
which is not really what you want to hear when you're in a tent, I have to say.
no.
But
And they don't care, do they? That's it. They're not
well, no,
interested in us at all.
they
They're
have got
going
one
at it.
thought on their mind. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah. And
absolutely.
actually, if you're in a tent and get trampled, that's the better of the two outcomes.
Yeah. Well, I know, yeah, indeed. Yeah, yeah. Geez. And the noise is just incredible, isn't it?
It's
Just everything, the
primeval.
roaring and the like. I remember hearing the clash of antlers
Yeah.
together. It's
Yeah,
just
the
something
power's
else.
insane.
Yeah,
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's an absolute privilege to hear and to listen. But there was a few times we just like stopped and let the stags do their thing, move
yeah.
past, or gave
That's it.
people
Yeah.
land, give
I saw it
space.
shimmy
Yeah,
past. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. No, it's a dangerous time. They really
yeah,
are just focused on women, on
yeah,
lady
yeah,
stags,
yeah,
and fighting basically.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then, yeah, so you've just mentioned, oh, you mentioned a little bit about the training and preparation that you did, because like you said, that's a big old first day, and the terrain's relentless in one way, shape, or form as well, isn't it? Is whether it's, uphill, downhill, or bog, I guess, from what
There's a
or
lot of
marsh
bog.
or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, what training did you stick into to get through it all?
Well, I had I am a big fan of the spreadsheet when it comes to training.
Yeah,
So I had a 5 day out of 7 training schedule. But I had promised myself that I wasn't just going to load it on myself and then just get fed up because I hadn't been able to train as much as I wanted to. Because I knew I wasn't going to be able to train as much as
Yeah.
I wanted to. And I
Yeah.
also knew that Ali and Hilary are both very, very active fell runners.
Yeah.
And I just haven't got the opportunity currently to be able to get out for really long days.
Yeah.
So, but I also knew that I had a lot more experience carrying rucksacks
Mm.
and having a fantastic trip earlier on in the year. I was very fortunate to go out to Nepal and walk the Manaslu circuit. So I knew I had that in my legs. And that made a big difference psychologically as well.
Yeah.
But I also had to train around lots of lovely middle-aged lady problems like vein issues, ligament issues, aching joint issues. I can go on and on and on.
Mm.
Um, but
No, but I think it's important that you do go on, to be honest. And like headaches as well that we've spoken about,
Yeah,
haven't we? That you said,
migraines.
yeah,
Yeah,
migraines. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, thankfully, the migraines have eased off a lot. HRT is a wonderful thing. I
Mm.
fought quite hard not to go onto it, but then I just ended up kind of crawling into the doctor's surgery when I was getting migraines that floored me for 3 days every sort of 2 to 3 weeks. You can't kind of carry on like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, training around that. I knew that would be frustrating, and it was deeply. But I knew if I got out 5 days out of 7, didn't matter even if it was just a dog walk. I had a rucksack with 2 ropes plus water on my back. I had my boots that I was going to be wearing on my feet. So I was out every time doing something. We're lucky we've got a big hill in our village. So under cover of darkness, I was fully kitted up and walking up and down the hill. And anything I did, I basically put a heavy rucksack on
Yeah.
and then put as much ascent in as I could as well. So
To
a lot of,
Morrison's, right. Here we go.
yeah, yeah. Well, carrying shopping is a total winner, I tell you, when it comes to
Yeah. Well,
training.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a lot of shorter days carrying heavy stuff, but frequently. And that worked, apart from my feet weren't tough enough.
Right.
Because I couldn't get literally time on feet. That meant that for the first time in like 20 years, I had to remember how to deal with blisters, which was a bit of a head
Oh,
rush to
well.
start with because I
Yeah.
completely forgot what to do.
Yeah.
Um, so that was painful. Um, uh, but um, but again, I had two brilliant mates with me on the trail. We literally, without like, Hillary didn't know me very well. I didn't really know Hillary very well. But we all just got on like house on fire.
Yeah.
So we literally belly laughed for 220 miles.
Yeah.
And that took a massive load off because any time where I was just feeling down, someone would fall over and get covered in mud, and we'd all be hooting, and somebody would practically wet themselves laughing, and everybody would be hooting again, and then
Yeah.
trail fever set in, and we just said, just oh, if anybody had put on microphones on our rucksack, thank God they didn't. They would have
Well, I
just.
wish we had now, though. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I
Oh,
would have
they
been
would have
ace
been
at certain
carting us
points.
off to
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
kind of
Brilliant. Yeah.
institution. But that kind of laughter and just any time any of us was down, the others were there to pull us out,
Mm.
and that camaraderie was absolutely priceless, and it made what was a fantastic trip just next level, really.
Even better, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that was another plus of having the three, wasn't it? Is
Yes.
yeah, at times one person can be down and there's
Yeah.
another two that can pick up the pieces almost, I think, with that sort of
Yeah.
relationship, isn't there? Or that sort of dynamic is probably a better term, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're with each other 24/7 for 12 days through what could
Yeah.
be a pretty stressful situation. The weather, we were very lucky with the weather early on. If we hadn't have been, it might have been a different situation. One of the days, I looked at the map, I knew we had 20 miles of bog slog, and my blisters were like throbbing. And I also knew my knees were really starting to hurt by that point as well. It's some old niggly knee issues that I thought I'd trained around, but I mean it was a big ask for my body.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, my knees weren't very happy. So I just said straight out, look, ladies, this 20 miles tomorrow is just filling me full of dread. I don't think I can cope with that.
Mm.
But I've looked at the map. I can take the tent. and go out 6 miles out to the road. I'll hitch up to where you guys are going to hit the road this evening. We knew there was a pretty hefty river crossing on that day. So it meant that if they did get wet, I'd have the tent up. I got the stove on. I had hot water, hot food there ready for them straight away. And so they knew that was going to be there waiting for them, if they'd ended up having a bad time on the river crossing. As it was, they got across in trainers and pants and all no problem at all. And I managed to find the only campsite literally next to the path, so they couldn't miss me
Yeah.
because there was no phone signal to find me. And we had a proper, I think probably had the wildest night in the tent actually that night. But again, because we weren't all in individual bivy bags, we were just all piled in under a tent fly sheet basically. We were in bivy bags under a fly sheet.
Right.
We just chunted and giggled the whole time, and it made a massive difference to sort of three little individual sad soggy pods, zipped up and
Yeah.
not talking because they couldn't hear each other in the wind. So yeah, that dynamic. It was a bit of a pain, and it was a gamble. We all sort of talked and chewed over taking the 10
Mm.
fly sheet with us as additional weight, but actually it worked extremely
Glad
well.
you did. So yeah, so and loads to pick up on that from me in my head. So wildest by you said it was the wildest night. Do you mean weather-wise?
Yeah,
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 yeah, on
yeah,
that night. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. No
Uh,
parties.
no, well, I
No.
know. Well, yeah, I just wanted to clarify that's what you meant, just because you went on to say you were giggling and laughing and chuntering and stuff. And then, yeah, so, and were you in, did you, yeah, so you were in a bivvy
Yeah.
bag, but you're like a hooped bivvy, or is that what we're talking about? Or literally just
Literally
like a
just a bivy
sleeping,
bag. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, with
Yeah.
the fly sheet
So
over you.
yeah, so those we took those bags because the first 4 days we didn't carry the tent fly sheet. We'd actually gone and Hillary had gone up first and left food drops en route. So we had
Mm,
three food drops, so we didn't need to carry obviously like 12 days food from
yeah,
the outset. And the first drop we'd dropped the tent as well. So that worked extremely well. So we could pick up supplies of food, fresh supplies of like K-tape for taping up knees and everything else, and then we picked up the tent after those first 4 days
cool.
as well. So we saved as much weight as we could on en route, and we were carrying. I think we had 40-litre pack each,
Right.
and very very lightweight packs actually. And the kit we carried. We did carry two stoves, one as backup, and but we did splash out on expedition food
Mm.
and rail termat food and fire pot food, and so we
So
just
the higher calorie stuff as well,
yeah,
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 as
yeah.
well
Well,
as
we
it's
needed
higher quality. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
exactly.
absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, it was a splash out, but we knew at
yeah,
the end of each day we were getting a minimum of
yeah,
800 calories in us,
yeah,
and that was really beneficial to recovery at the end of each day. So even
yeah,
on the shorter days, there's a lot of ascent and gnarly terrain.
yeah.
Um, so we just boiled water, and we had a collapsible Sea to Summit kettle with us, which worked absolutely brilliantly.
Right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and funnily enough, here's a tip. We discovered we had a little Soto stove with us, which is a Japanese brand. It's a beautiful.
Right,
They actually made all the Olympic torches for the Tokyo
right,
Olympics, Soto. But the stove is, I mean, it's brilliant. It's just works a dream. But it's fierce. So if you use a small gas canister on it, 100-gram gas canister, the endothermic reaction that it creates makes frost occur on the gas canister. So
right.
that little 100-gram gas canister fits over a kneecap perfectly. So I could just like boil the water, take off the frozen the icy gas canister, sit
Oh,
that on
nice. Your
my
leg.
knee, which was like
Yeah, yeah.
twice the size it should be, wrap that up with a buff, and that was me for the night. Make another brew and another nice icy gas canister and swap it over. It worked
Oh,
really
brilliant.
well. Yeah, yeah, that was Ali's idea. She's like, will that fit on your knee? I'm like, yeah. Oh my God, that feels amazing. Yeah.
That's incredible. Oh, well, oh, yeah, you've preempted the stove question because I know well, we all know you're a massive stove geek, and that's just was that another excuse to buy another stove as well then,
No, no, no. I
or
know.
was that
It's my
oh,
husband who's a stove geek. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, oh,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah, 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 yeah.
So no, I chose from the wide collection that we have here at Casey Towers.
Brilliant, brilliant. So it was already in the collection, so to
It
speak.
was.
Love that.
It
Love
was.
that.
Yeah, there was a lot of umming and ahhing about which one to take. But that with the collapsible kettle
Lovely.
worked and
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
I've got to give a plug. I don't know whether you saw Dr. Will Duffin that we've had on previously had done some taste testing on. I think he'd done it on the Rival podcast, Guru. But no, it
He
was
did.
absolutely brilliant
Yeah,
because he was dressed up in a tux and
it
stuff.
was.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
saw
look,
that. Superb.
I've got to go and have a listen to those.
Yeah,
So it sound, but looking at calorific value versus
yeah.
weight and all the rest of it, so there was some really good stuff within that. So yeah, I just. I mean, you've mentioned a couple of the high points and low points, but I guess within what you've been saying, so and how you got through that as a group. But is there a standout moment each way that really makes you think, yeah, God, that was awful, or yeah, from what you've said, I'm almost guessing no, it was sort of counteracted by all the good stuff.
It really was. I mean, the wildlife was incredible. We saw sea otters, we saw golden eagle.
Yeah,
I mean, the views, Scotland. Oh my gosh, when the weather's
yeah,
good, there's nowhere better. I think probably for the three of us, coming out from a place called Glencool Bothy, which was beautiful, and you're sort of looking at the map, and it's like, oh, it's 200 meters of ascent to get round, but actually there's a bit of distance, but it's a few miles round to the next Bothy, which has totally left my head. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, like 200 meters. And the rain came in at that point, and I've never climbed 200 meters that high in my life. It just went on forever.
yeah.
And it was absolutely vile weather. It was like proper soggy bog underfoot. And we knew we were coming into a bothy, so about 2 miles out, we start looking for wood, and everything was drenched, and I was like, oh, there's gonna be no fire when we get there. We're gonna be drenched, we're gonna have wet socks, it's gonna be
Yeah,
miserable.
it's going to be a grim old night. Yeah,
Yeah, we just started walking along, and just eureka, there was this literally a dead birch tree next to the path, and I was just like, right, wow, perfect. So we just like broke that down, put those into the bags for life that we carried for the very purpose, and took those round to the bothy, by which time the rain had cleared, the sun was going down over the lock. When we got to the bothy, there was another guy there who brought some coal in, so we had a wooden coal fire. We got everything
yeah,
dry. It was amazing. We had a good chat. We got up at 5 the following morning because I wanted to go out. There was a mythical bus that I thought I might be able to catch, but that wasn't there. That was the day I took the tent out.
yeah,
But honestly, it was so calm, so still. You could literally see the stars reflected in the lock.
yeah.
It was
Wow. Yeah,
unbelievable. I think probably the last day as well. It's like every low was literally followed by a high, and it was so
yeah,
linked to the weather. But the final day, because you have to cross a bombing range, there was only 2 days where it was open. So we did take the bus one day to leapfrog ahead to make sure that we could get to Cape Wrath Lighthouse, because we thought we would have to end at Sandwood Bay. But we got that final day. Um, oh God, yeah, the weather properly came in. It was horrendous. But when we got to the end, there's two people that live at the end in a cafe, the Ozone Cafe. Doesn't matter. It's open 24/7. Anytime you can knock them up. And we got there, it was actually about 11 o'clock in the morning. And they're like, oh, what do you want? And so we just had the best beans on toast, a mug of tea, double rainbow, to get our picture at the end of this route. I mean,
wow, awesome.
honestly, it was something else. It
Yeah.
really, really was. Yeah, yeah,
And
amazing.
that the way you sort of described that last piece previously when we'd spoken about it was just like it was the most amazing thing. And I guess the end of any distance challenge really
Mm,
is, isn't it? When you see, well, sometimes the end takes a long time to arrive as well, but but when it does arrive, wow, it's an amazing thing.
yeah.
Yep. And yeah, there's a bit of an in joke, isn't it? But 6.5, you need to tell
Oh, I knew that was
the
going to come
story of
up.
that because well, I had to after hi Hillary, we met at the Kendal Mountain Festival, and you were you're laughing your head off at it. And I think I'm not sure how it worked out because Ali was there as well, wasn't she? But they were
Yes, we had a method of grading falls, and it was a point system. And I took
quite
an
system.
absolutely spectacular slide, full mud up the side, all over me. Got the rucksack too in the mud. It was, you could see the skid. There was evidence of the skid, and I just came to a halt, and I was just like, oh, that's got to be a 10. And neither of them saw it. They were ahead of me at the time, and to this day they dispute it, and they've only given me 6.5. I got Christmas cards with 6.5 in. Every time I call the shop, there's a 6.5 in the frame of the picture when I'm talking to somebody on Skype. I'm aggrieved. I would just like to say, I've
Brilliant. Oh, because it wasn't witnessed. You need to shout more
I
loudly when you're
know.
going to do something like that. Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway,
love it.
I think there's a chance to make up for a full 10 points because we're off again. We're off to do the Glen Affric Kintail Trail plus a little bit
Brilliant.
next spring. So although I think the terrain, looking at the map, the terrain's quite
Bit
benign
easier.
compared to what we've
I
been
say,
across.
yeah,
But
it's a bit
I'm sure
easier.
there'll be an
Yeah.
opportunity. I'm
There'll be
sure.
something. Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
there always is, isn't there? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's been Cathy talking about the Cape Wrath Trail. Which, there's more to tell for it, isn't there? We could probably fit in a couple of hours worth, to be honest. I think with
I'm not sure
there's little
everybody would
snip.
understand though.
Well, no, maybe
A lot
maybe
of
not. Yeah, I think there's little snippets that you've told me over the course of however long it is. But yeah, that's that. Thank you for joining us today, to talk about that.
If you would like to read more about our Cape Wrath trip, including images of our planning sheet and also our top 5 kit picks for the route, all of that is available on our Joe Brown and the Climber Shop blog page. In fact, if you just type in Cape Wrath Trail, the Climber Shop or Joe Brown's, that will come up on your favourite search engine. And there is also a wealth of extra information on our sister website, the Joe Brown Outdoor Academy, which can be accessed by www.joebrownoutdooracademy.com.